Welcome, Mage. I'm Rhino, and today we're going to be talking about the 7 lessons for a better and commander experience.
Alrighty. So, in this wonderful world of Commander, we've been playing for quite some time. I started playing back in 1993. Rhino started back in 2014 at the ripe old age of 7. All right. And he's been playing Commander since 2017, about the same time I started as well. And if we could go back in time, these are the 7 things that we wish someone had told us before we got started. All right. So, lesson number 1 is
Don't break the bank for cards.
okay. So, there are cards out there that are really expensive, and a lot of them are called game changers.
Game changers,
A
yeah.
lot of them are called dual lands. Yeah. And the thing is, they're so expensive. And really, do you need to have those in your deck to make your deck work? A lot of cases we create playtest cards. This is printed on paper. We use there's a website. It's at the bottom of our websites, playtest proxies or something like that, where you can go in and you can print out a card that has all the text on it and stuff. And what we do is we put basic land and we put it in a sleeve and we put it into the deck. And we use this to see, is this the card that we really want to use back and forth? And a lot of times we'll put maybe about 10 of those in. Sometimes when we're trying to change things out, we want to check things to make sure that this card will come up as often as we need it and that we can get it and it'll do the work that we want it to do. So, and in some cases, it's like this one right here is Witty Roastmaster. It's a common card from New
New
Capenna.
Capenna.
Yeah, New Capenna. And the reason why we've created playtest cards is because we couldn't find it. And we just found it today. That's why, this is out. And it's now, we've got the actual card into the deck. And it does the work that we want it to do. So, and yeah, that wasn't a very expensive card, but there's some others. Sometimes you got cards that are $2 or but really there's a lot of cards that will do what you want them to do that you don't have to spend 40-50 bucks on. So you know, don't break the bank on cards. All right, lesson 2.
I use only play tools.
Use online
Online.
play tools.
Online play tools.
Yeah. Okay. So, what play tool do you use?
Goldfish.
Yeah. What do you
Uh,
goldfish with?
Architect.
Okay. So we'll put our cards in Archidect, and we'll uh, try out. Yeah. Let's see. You just tried out some changes to a deck. How many? You went through it like 20 times or something like that.
Mhm.
Check to make sure that you get the mana that you need. That if you mulligan, it's when is a good time to mulligan, and are you getting the cards that do the anthem effects and all of that sort of stuff. So goldfishing the deck is very important because, well, how long do most commander games last?
Generally an hour.
An hour and a half. Sometimes they go longer, and it just depends on the type of game. I mean, if you goldfish, I mean, you could go through, like 10 or so games worth of openings in like 20 minutes. So, and if you only get to play 3 or 4 games a week at most, I mean, that's a month's worth of checking out a deck right there, just using an online tool. So that way, when you go to sit down, you know your cards a little bit better. You know what works. You know, oh, hey, in order to do this, I need to have this out, that out. And you make sure you have enough lands in the deck. Okay. Lesson
No.
3.
Go blindly net deck.
Okay. So, net deckers, well, that comes from a term back when we only had competitive play where somebody would copy someone else's deck and then they would just play that deck. And then they would try to make it sound like they won solely on their own.
Accord.
Yeah. And yeah, that's where you got that whole another net decker sort of thing. But now net decking isn't a bad thing. I mean you want to go out and you want to see what some good possibilities are, and EDH Rec is a good place to look for cards. But what do most people do on EDH Rec?
They look up um the top um
Yeah, they look at the top cards, they
and
look at the average deck, and then they might find a deck and they might copy that deck. And what's the big problem with copying that deck?
I don't know if it's been tested or not.
Yeah, and a lot of times people will put up a deck. They might copy a precon, swap out some cards, and go, "Oh, okay, that's close enough." EDH Rec will come through and copy that. And then somebody else might say, "Oh, hey, I see that this is a deck," and they'll copy it, and then somebody else will copy it, and then EDH Rec gets this false notion that these cards are well used when it may have come from somebody who just had an idea and didn't, really test the deck out. So you have to be really careful when dealing with copying a deck list. Now if it's a YouTuber and you've watched them play on stream and this is their deck list, sure, go right ahead. Yeah, but that's not doing it blind. A lot of times, people come in with a blind deck and they haven't even tried the deck. They haven't done the gold fishing, and they just sit there. And we had that one guy at the SCG con with his Krinko deck, and he had 21,
Doing
21 mountains in the deck, and he can never get the deck started, because he,
yeah.
he just copied stuff and just piled stuff in and never tested it. Okay, lesson number 4.
Vary your bracket on your power levels.
Okay, so you want to vary your bracket or your power levels. So yeah, what's the scout motto?
Be prepared.
Okay, so we go to LGS and we are prepared. How many decks do you take?
Generally,
About
10.
10-ish. And you've got, I don't know that you've got a bracket 1 in there at the moment, but
No,
you got several 2, 3s and 4s.
yeah.
And that way when you sit down and you find out what other people are playing, you can go, "Oh, okay, I got a deck." Now, the most of the people we run into, how many decks do you think they have?
1, maybe 2.
Yeah, we've run into a lot of people that don't have a lot of decks. Sometimes we'll get somebody who has 3 decks. Ooh.
Oh,
But we get a lot of new players and they don't have a lot. They don't know how to, they've just started playing, and so we want to make sure that we have a deck that can match them very easily. Um, okay, lesson number 5.
let go of the winning obsession.
Okay, so when you first started out playing Magic, you were playing
Standard.
and that was very competitive.
Yeah.
So your games lasted how long?
Um, it was
It
like
would range from like 10 minutes
minutes.
to 30 minutes per game. And you would get in and you try to win, and then you would shuffle up, you'd sideboard, you'd
I
try.
don't cyborg.
Yeah. No, what he did is he made his deck so was so much variance that he didn't have to sideboard. Yeah, it screwed people up like crazy. Uh, but I mean, that is very much a competitive sort of game. You're trying to win. And you have one opponent. There's one winner, or there's one loser, and you're trying to go up this rank ladder. Commander's not like that. Uh, Commander is a break from the competitive play. There's a lot more social aspects to Commander. It's more relaxed. That's why they call it casual Commander. Commander is very broken in and of itself. So being very competitive about it makes it very difficult to play. And that's why there's a whole different competitive EDH, and they have what, maybe 10 different decks that people play. Uh, and it's yeah and if that's your thing, then play competitive. But for casual, get into the casual. I mean, if you are in a pod of four and everything's well matched, how often should you win?
25%.
Yeah, 25% of the time. And somewhere around there. If you're a really good player, maybe you go up to about 30% of the time. Um, but if you're winning most of your games, then you are probably playing in such a way where
I
it,
must win.
I must win at the expense of others, and that's not what Commander is about. Commander is, yes, you do want to win, but the way that you win is more like playing a board game, not Monopoly, because nobody plays Monopoly right. But playing a board game like Settlers of Catan, or Ticket to Ride, or something like that. You want to get in, you want to play, you want to do some things. You it's like, yeah, having friends over for a game night, and you know that's what we're playing. Is something very casual, something where you're not focused on winning, which leads into lesson number 6.
Focus on the people, not just the cards.
So if you come in and you just look at the board state, and if you have people there that don't talk to each other, it's a pretty boring game. And we have several people that are extreme introverts that don't want to talk to anybody. They just play their card, and they don't represent their board state properly, and they're just horrible to play with. But if you interact with people, I mean, that's we're taking 3, 4, 6 hours out of our day or out of our week to play Commander. In our case, sometimes more. And we don't want that time to be wasted and just sitting there doing nothing, and watching somebody shuffle cards and stuff like that. We want to have this interaction. We want to uh, be part of a conversation. And that leads into lesson number 7.
Which is be your par pod's master of ceremonies.
Okay. So that means that you want to facilitate the communication. You want to do that, pre-game conversation. You want to make sure that, people know what's going on in the game. If somebody else is doing it, then fine. Let them have their fun. But if nobody's doing it, jump in there. Talk about the cards. Do stories. I mean, make the game more fun for everyone. I mean, we want to have a better Commander experience. All of us do. I mean, you don't want to just go in and just sit down, play, not even learn the person's name. Granted, sometimes we have a hard time remembering people's names, especially when they don't tell us their real name. But uh, you want to get to know them a little bit. You want to find out more about them, how they're doing things, and all of that. So um, our our 7 lessons. We'll go over them real quick again. Number 1,
Don't break the bank for cards.
yeah, use playtest cards. Uh, Number 2,
Use online and play and tools.
okay, goldfish. That way you know what your deck is. Lesson 3,
Don't blindly net deck.
because you never know where that deck came from. Number 4,
Vary your bracket or power levels.
in other words, be prepared. Level 5,
And let go on the winning obsession.
okay, you're not going to win all the time. Don't try to. Try for a more social game. Number 6,
Focus on the people, not just cards.
because I mean we want to have a nice social experience. And number 7,
Be your pod's master of ceremonies.
okay. So, um, with all that said, I can tell you this: we had a great experience at a recent Star City Games where we sat down, we chatted with people, and one guy said, "Hey, where'd you get those tokens from?" And I was like, "Well, I made them." They're like, "Really? You made those? Are you a magic artist?" I was like, "No, no, I just make the tokens." And that got me thinking, maybe these tokens that we make, we should give to our patrons. So take a look at our patrons. You can actually become a patron for free. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, $1 a month helps us with a lot of things, including the work that we do with building decks for new players, and we give out decks all the time to new players. And we often carry around several. And you know, sometimes if somebody doesn't have a deck to play, here, try this out. And then afterwards, did you like that deck? Okay, keep it. And blows them away. So that's really really fun. We enjoy doing that. Um, and so take a look at our Patreon. It also allows you to get actual notifications because YouTube never notifies. But is there a lesson that you learned that we didn't list? Put that in the comments. So, Ryan, close us out.
Well, I want to thank you for us talking about the 7 ways for a better and commander experience. And I have more videos coming out soon. So, Rhino out.